Yeah, that is I-35, and northbound, like I said, it's a standstill. It's not clearing up until you get past maybe 44th Street. Southbound starting to back up, and it's backing up back toward 44th Street. If at all possible, don't use I-35. Hop over to Sooner Road or something and come in that way. I-44 is pretty clear. If you're coming up I-44, it's flowing pretty good. But if you can, avoid I-35. They have all those exits shut down coming through Moore, and it's just a mess right now. I've just seen Air One this morning. That's all I've seen as far as law enforcement and rescue efforts. They're the only ones out there this morning. They have us way up above everything. We're up actually about 4,300 feet right now. That's why I can see all the traffic flowing. But the only active aircraft I've seen down there this morning is Air One from Oklahoma City Police Department. Up a real good picture from up here. The camera's working really well, and he can zoom right in and we can see what's going on. And so far, I haven't seen any search dogs per se. They may have given them a rest. Those dogs get tired and wear out a little bit. They may let them rest a little bit and get them going here a little bit when the wind picks up. But as far as search dogs, we haven't seen a whole lot of that going on either, Tam. Hey guys, we don't have any off air at the moment. Queue us up or something. Yeah, Tammy, this thing, I can see all the way back just to the north part of Newcastle where this thing set down, and it run all the way across to Draper Lake. It just ends right before that. And you can just see it's a mud trail, a swamp, if you will, that just came through here, and you can just track it all the way back to north of
David Brothers has possession of Oklahoma 562, David George Charles. Last four is going to be 3685.
We sure can. We'll head down that way and we'll look you up and holler at you when we have that shot for you. No, we'll turn and if DJ will swing the camera out here to the left, we'll follow it down to Newcastle, and then we'll come back and call back up for that church. I don't have to get permission from American Control, so
the other vehicle involved is going to be a blue semi, it's going to be northbound. He's going to, when they get to Coffeyville to get his tires saved, he's going to have his flashers on, they'll be on the shoulder.
Tammy, this is, of course, it's the old bridge that goes into Newcastle. I think Newcastle was established there in 1965. This tornado set down, if I can get DJ to pan out a little bit and pan to the left, it set down just about a mile southwest of this bridge, and it took out about 10 homes or more when it came through there, and it's just devastating down here in Newcastle as well. These folks lost their homes here, and then off the bridge here, and it continued up through Moore in that area, Tammy. No, it's an obvious path. It just went straight across here. It doesn't look like it left the ground at all, and you can still see it as a dirt trail or debris trail if you will. That leads straight up northeast and then turns a little bit east as it goes through Moore, and then more east as it goes out toward Lake Draper. Yeah, it just set on the ground. Looks like it just, like you said, just churned. And I was watching Jim Gardner's video last night, and it just, this thing was huge, and it just had so much energy with it, and it didn't leave the ground until it got out there by Lake Draper. Right, this thing, you know, I live in Newcastle, and my son and my daughter and I were headed toward the storm shelter, and we looked north of us, and we seen this thing, and you know, I'd seen one that big before, but this looked bigger actually, and it just had so much energy with it, and it was just sad that it wouldn't just leave the ground. It was like he was hoping it would just go away, but this thing just built stronger as it went out towards Lake Draper. Yeah, unfortunately, school was in session, and just looking back on this thing, it was probably just better to leave the area. I don't know, shelter in place would only be underground or a safe room, but if you were sheltering in a closet or anything, it was probably just better to leave the area, and that's probably something we'll look at in the future. And we had plenty of advance warning. People were taking the proper shelter, they thought. But this thing just had so much energy with it. It was just sad.
It does make you think about, not everyone can afford a shelter, and not everyone ever will. The accessibility of community shelters, I know sometimes people have access to shelters, they don't go. They believe, well, I'll get in my safe place, like you said. But I tell you, we're all taking note, all of us in Oklahoma are taking notice that sometimes it's not enough, and gosh, just to know where your shelter is, even the drive time to get there, those are all really important things to have right now, that information for you and your family. Because in this case, when you see the bridge that was knocked out, you see these buildings that were demolished, homes demolished, boy, I tell you, there was just nowhere to go for some who were not able to get out soon enough, or who chose not to because they really believed they'd be safe. James, we appreciate you from the air. For those of you just joining us this morning, we're going to stay on throughout the day as we wait for what we are hoping is good news. The search becoming certainly more grim, though, as the hours go on at Plaza Towers Elementary School. We're standing by waiting for a press conference that will be getting underway. We're hoping soon. This is a live picture you saw there just a moment. It just went off of donations out in front of TV9. There they are. Just incredible response from all of you who have dropped by the station. You can make cash donations. You can leave things, toiletries. When you think about items that you need, if you were to lose everything, that's what they need. And the response has been great. Bob Mills, Sky News 9 HD, logging a lot of miles for this one the last couple of days. And now we are over the scene, over the damage and the path of this monster tornado right now. This is a live picture. These are not filed pictures from yesterday. We're looking at live pictures as we're waiting to learn at the press conference if the fatality number has gone up, because the medical examiner certainly believes it will be. James, a lot of people are likely at the office or just now heading that way. There were a couple of areas as we look at this there and more, certainly along I-35. You raised some concerns about traffic. Can you hear me, James? What were you telling me, Josh?
I'm sorry, I got you on there. I had to turn it off there for just a little bit. I had some air traffic control to talk to, but I've got you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Hi, are you? We knew Air National Guard was up in the air yesterday. Today, it's my understanding you're seeing some military aircraft. Is that right, James?
Tammy, I heard a military aircraft calling in. I know OHP's aircrafts now, and I heard a military aircraft calling in, and I don't know if that's the one coming to pick up the governor to give her a tour or not, but they were just calling in north from I-35, so they should be here shortly.
The governor, there has been a declaration of disaster for several counties, and looking at this picture, you can certainly see why. There'll be federal aid coming to Pot County, Cleveland, Oklahoma, Lincoln, McLean. Gosh, what a difference a day makes. We were live in Shawnee. It's hard to keep our day straight, you know, because we came in so late last night. But yesterday we were live in Shawnee where there was a fatality and tremendous damage. So that area is going to get some federal aid. Certainly Oklahoma County, Cleveland County. That's going to help individuals with temporary housing, repairs, low-cost loans, help for business owners. So there is help coming. There was help. Help had arrived last night in the OHP. They found 100 survivors. Some reports say 101 survivors last night. So just an incredible effort to save lives. Our Rusty Surratt has been with us throughout the night and now this morning. Rusty, getting any word now on how close we are to that press conference?
No, not yet, Tammy. From where we're at here at our location, I'm actually looking across from where what's being called now Satellite City, where all of the media is being based, and there's a large group that's now gathering. You know what, Scott? I don't know how well you'll be able to see it past this tree. Can you see? I tell you what, there's a big tree that's right here in our way. What I will show you, Tammy, again, is just the amount of debris here along 19th Street, just on the west side of I-35. Taking a look down there, the activity here on 19th Street certainly has decreased just a bit, but that's mostly because a lot of the emergency crews and the help that were arriving, the police, fire, military, they are now actually in the neighborhoods and beginning the second day, I guess you can call it the second day of the search and the rescue and the recovery operations. We're still seeing a lot of police and fire vehicles that are coming off of I-35 that are still pulling here into the Target parking lot. This is just one spot that's become what is a large command center here at 19th and I-35. Right now we're looking at the United States Air Force Fire Department that's pulling by here. OHP is still across the street. The Walmart, the Target, the Dick's Sporting Goods, all of these are now basically large command centers for the number of military and police personnel. Before we go back to you, Tammy, what I'll do is I'll come around here, Scott, just follow me, and show you the parking lot of Target, because Bobby and Stan and all the media are in one parking lot. But here behind me, you can see the number of police cars, military trucks. There's now satellite trucks here with different federal agencies, state agencies. You've got county, local, and I've seen police cars out here from almost every corner of the state of Oklahoma, Paoli, Canadian County, just any city that you can think of. I think they've got resources down here, and it's a pretty good reason why. Tammy?
Rusty, I have no doubt they have the parents of those missing children somewhere with arms around them as they wait for word about their children. We're not able to show those pictures live at the elementary school because we were asked to leave along with all the other media, but so many people watching That is of paramount concern right now. If you could, as we look at this picture, it's a live picture, Bob Mills, Sky News 9 HD, above more on this new day, the day after the Twisters. Could you describe for us, Rusty, the scene there at the school overnight for those viewers who had to get some rest last night?
Yeah, none of the work stopped overnight, and it was interesting going into that area where the school is, where Plaza Towers Elementary School is. If you're familiar with that area, there's a lot of homes that are around it. It's a neighborhood that the elementary school is right in, and as we went into that neighborhood, it was completely dark, no power anywhere around, and the only light that we saw anywhere, probably for miles, was that one command center there at the elementary school. And so as we were weaving our way through that area, we approached the elementary school, or what's left of it. And I hate to describe it this way, but it's a large pile of debris and rubble. And there were a number of emergency personnel there. At about 1 o'clock this morning, they did find a dog that was alive in what used to be the classroom area of the school. We were allowed, there were a handful of reporters who were allowed, without cameras or recorders, to go back into the command center to look at what is happening there at the school, and they told us why it was taking some time for them to go in and to remove the debris to try and get down into the heart of what was left of the school. And one of their main concerns was the amount of rubble that was piled onto one another. They're concerned about that collapsing not only onto the emergency workers that were there, but onto possibly anybody who was still under the debris. And the one thing they pointed out, I was talking to Lieutenant Archer of the National Guard, the one thing he told me, he said, if you look around, look at the faces of these men and these women who are out here. And as he said that, I looked in the area where they had the canteen set up and they were taking their short breaks. There were some stressful, just sad looking faces. And he said, you got to remember that the men and women who are out here and doing these rescues and going through the debris, these are fathers and these are mothers, and so they can connect. And as they're going through that school and they're finding the jackets and the backpacks and the small chairs, that's when it's really hitting home. And it's one of the reasons they had a chaplain that was on scene there at the school as well, to be on site, to handle the emotional side of this. Hats off to these folks who are out here doing these rescues and these searches. More police told us that overnight they had more than 100, way more than 100 people that they found in underground shelters overnight here at some of these homes and more. So it's just been such a tiring night, but it's amazing to look around here and to see that the work continues. And I'll show you just kind of a scan here of 19th Street once more on the other side. I'll pan around on the other side. There are power poles that are down. There are lines that are dangling here on the sidewalk and in the streets. And just as far as I can see, emergency vehicles, OHP troopers, and everything that is just here on site to help out in every way possible. Tammy, we're going to go back to you now.
Rusty Surratt, thank you. You did just describe very well the heroes at Ground Zero. We know they will not stop until all these children are found, and we will stay here passing along this information as we get it. As we stand by for the press conference from officials, we'll send it back to Jed Castles. We'll look at today's forecast, Jed.
Tim, I want to get a quick update on radar. We are watching rain and thunderstorms continuing south of Oklahoma City. Some heavy storms have started to fire up now around Duncan, Marlow, just to the east of Lawton. We're going to keep an eye on those. Those actually have been showing signs of tracking a little further to the north. I'm not sure they're going to make it all the way back up to Oklahoma City, but they may try to lift back up toward Purcell, maybe Norman. A heavy thunderstorm right now between Rush Springs, Lawton, over just to the east near Elgin, near Marlow. Heavy storm near Duncan. There's also some heavy weather down around Davis, Sulphur, over to Ada, Calvin, and down toward Colgate. So we're going to keep an eye on some scattered showers, some thunderstorms. Temperatures today should rebound back up close to 80 degrees. It looks like we'll have an improving forecast here later today. But right now, still watching some showers and storms south and east. A few of those may try to make their way back up into central Oklahoma. We'll just have to track it. Best chance for severe weather south and east of Oklahoma City. the tornado threat for Oklahoma City has dropped to 0. So we are looking at an improved forecast today. With that respect, 80 today, 87 tomorrow. Nice day for your Wednesday. A few more storms back on the way for late week.
And Jed, you can imagine the interest in your forecast from first responders right now is more. They're dealing with broken water lines already. Buildings have filled up with water, and we're talking about the possibility of rain. So if you could talk with them directly, what would you tell them and more, those who are searching?
There's still a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. The best chances are way to our south. We just have to watch that little batch that's near Rush Springs and see if it doesn't move up a little closer to Norman. It could maybe briefly move up to near Moore. So we'll just have to watch that here over the next probably hour and a half.
We know you will. For now, we're live in the sky. Bob Mills, Sky News 9 HD. New pictures today. Jim getting some rest. James flying for us. And Lisa Monahan standing by with a new report. Great work yesterday, Lisa. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tammy. You know, when I came here to the News 9 studios and saw the outpouring of people here dropping off donations, it makes you proud to be an Oklahoman. We've been out here all night collecting donations. And just a few minutes ago, before you actually came to me, they told me that 2 little girls came by and dropped off their piggy bank. It's quite heavy. It's full of change. And the mother told our crews here that these little girls just wanted to do what they could to help out anyone that was in the wake of these tornadoes. And as you can see, I'm going to step out of the shot so you can see some of the donations we've been able to collect out here. We have quite a bit of water, but as you can imagine, as those rescue and recovery crews are out there all day today, and as it gets hot, they will need a lot more water. So we welcome everyone to keep bringing out water. Of course, you can make out your checks to the Red Cross, specifically to the Oklahoma Relief, to make sure that money gets where it needs to go. Since I've been out here, we've noticed a few folks pulling up that are wanting to drop off clothes. Now, from what I understand, we can take clothes that are packaged, like socks and things of that nature, but otherwise, we're going to have to direct the clothes to the Salvation Army, Goodwill, and they'll get those clothes where they need to go in the meantime. If you can think about things like shovels, gloves, things of that nature that these crews will need when they get in there to start cleaning out some of that debris, that's where the greatest need is right now. And of course, we'll continue to have crews out here to collect those items, and we appreciate all the giving that folks have been doing this morning here, Tammy.
Lisa Monahan reporting live for us. She didn't have to go far, just outside the studios here at Wilshire and Kelly, and we'd love to have you come by to make a donation. I mean, there were people here throughout the night. It was incredible, the line last night. It looked like people were in line for a Thunder game, and it was evident they wanted to be here just as much because they came at all hours bringing donations. James flying for us right now, live picture at Bob Mills, Sky News 9 HD, over the scene of total and absolute devastation, naturally bringing in national and international reporters. All eyes are on Moore, Oklahoma today as we wait for and hope for the recovery of children. Some pretty poignant pictures here. You saw the flag. From that to crime tape to just beleaguered, wary rescue workers. A lot of heavy equipment. Excuse me, naturally, bulldozers and bobcats are critical here because of the debris. It's not, if you're out there in the neighborhood, and I had that opportunity to go out into a neighborhood yesterday and talk with some of those coming out of their homes. I mean, these pictures say a lot, but until literally you walk up onto a house and see what these first responders are dealing with, it is no wonder that this is going to take time because they're dealing with mountains of debris. You know, you stand in a neighborhood that hasn't been damaged, you see a house, excuse me, and you can distinguish home from home, but in this neighborhood I was in, there was nothing to distinguish. It was just a long line. One gal, I asked her where her home was, and she kind of looked and kind of had to figure it out for a minute to see exactly where hers was because there's been that much movement. So what is happening now? We know, and you've probably heard this by now, but we want to repeat it. More schools are closed today. OCCC closed today. We are waiting for a press conference to get underway in Moore. We're hoping that we'll get new information from officials, and we have new pics. Is that what you're saying, Josh? These are share pics. This is Tinker. We always love to get pictures and video from our viewers. Later in this hour, we'll probably have some. We've gotten some new pictures from AP. You may not have seen just some incredible shots here of the storm. This is the tornado as it's coming through Moore. This is a police car damaged. It was pretty incredible where you would find vehicles yesterday on top of homes. They pulled a car out of the over the carport or out of the hospital, and more. They were tossed around like toys. The originating point of the tornado was Newcastle at 2:50. That is this shot that has come in on Share Pics. I'm going to take a drink of water while we look at these. That's Northeast 23rd in Newcastle. It's been called a monster for a reason. They're confident it's going to be labeled an F5 today. It was a grinder wedge-type tornado that didn't move fast, about 15 miles an hour, so chewing up everything in its path, as you can see on the right side of your screen of these live pictures. This is Southwest 134th in Portland. 43rd and Hera is this next picture that was sent in. Just ominous pictures, clouds, funnels, and the twister. Rescue workers at night. This is the National Guard at work. They were on the ground as well as in the air. At dark, they were using infrared, trying to get hits on warm spots, you know, hoping to find bodies. So they were in the air for us, helping during the search, and then obviously on the ground. They're on the ground again today. This picture just looks like a wall. This reminds me so much of what we saw May 3rd, 1999, an almost indistinguishable figure because it was just a huge, huge mass. This is, I think this is like right when it was coming out of the sky for the touchdown is my memory. I remember Jim Gardner, Dave Payne, all our storm trackers, and that was it when they were calling it that it was doing some damage. We could see power outages and transformers and debris everywhere. We just knew at that moment we had several days ahead of just incredible coverage. This is from Sky News 9 HD and Jim Gardner. Jed, this was just an indication that we were in real trouble.
Here's the thing about that tornado, Jamie, is that tornado was forming west of Oklahoma City, west of Moore, and you're thinking, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. I mean, this is actually going to develop and come to the metro, and then you see the size of it, and it just keeps expanding, and it keeps expanding, and you watch the returns on the radar, and you think this is going to become a huge tornado. I mean, just our hearts are sinking back there, just trying to think, how do we get the word out on this? I mean, how are people going to be able to, if they're not watching TV, how are they going to be able to know? We just had to hope that people were listening on radio, people were cell phoning others, texting, making sure that they are, you know, just in charge, just know that they're in tune with what was really happening.
Rusty Surratt's been following it for us, certainly, with what's new today. He's on the scene, and we're going to go to him now. Rusty, can you hear me? Are you with me, Rusty?
Can you hear me okay?
I sure can. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to make sure. With me, I've got a couple of residents, and this is kind of giving us a better idea of what they're doing with some of the people who were in some of these neighborhoods that were impacted. Tabitha and Steve, right? You were in another location. Your home is just to the north of us. Tell us what you're having to do. What did the authorities tell you as far as like getting back into some of these affected neighborhoods?
Yeah, over here at Sophomore High School, we had to park, and because there's power lines down in the road and everything like that, there's no way possible that anybody they can get by. You know, and they're stopping people right way down on Telephone Road over here, you know, and they won't let anybody pass by there either. So everybody's having to walk, you know, to get to where they need to be.
Tabitha, you said that you stayed the night in Norman last night. Which area did you come up in? I know you parked over there, just to the west of us. As you were walking up here, what did you see? Describe the damage for us.
It was just horrific. Just damage everywhere, debris everywhere, just children's toys, pillows. It was just horrible.
And you're on the way now to your home. Were you home yesterday when this happened?
Yeah, I actually got my kids out of Plaza Towers 10 minutes before the tornado hit. So
your children were in the school.
Yes. Yes. My niece and my nephew, they were in there, actually in there while the tornado hit. We got down to Norman and we saw that Plaza Towers was gone. My husband and my dad and my brother-in-law, they came back up here, and this, thank God that the kids were fine. They found them, and they're home. They're down in Lexington with Mom right now, so they're okay.
How old are your kids?
Our kids are 13, 12, and 7, and then my niece and nephew is 10 and 7.
2-year-old baby.
Yeah, she was in school, yeah.
No, but
This had been horrific as a mom.
Yes.
Seeing that happen, and I just want to make sure you picked them up 10 minutes before the tornado hit. What goes through your mind, sweetheart, with all that?
It was just chaos. I was just trying to get my kids out, and we were just trying to. I went back home, grabbed them, and I said, "We gotta go." We both were like, "We gotta go. It's coming." And we saw it hit coming down.
as soon as we left and got on I-35, she took a picture, and it was a good picture of the tornado just right there.
After you picked your kids up, did they say anything? Were they evacuating or sheltering in place or any of that?
It was. As soon as I walked in, the secretary knew me. She said, "I'll go get your 2 older ones. You go get your younger one." And I split up all the kids that I saw. The first graders were in the hallway. At that time, knelt down, and I grabbed my daughter, and the teachers were comforting them, rubbing their back, and I grabbed her, and I met my other 2 at the door, and we just left.
And then you went, did you go back to home or did you get out?
Home to pick him up and the baby up, and then we headed out. So it was, and my mom and my sister, they live right behind that fitness one, that little house. They live right there, so they got out. My sister went back to the school, but the tornado had already dropped, and she said her car was shaking, the debris was falling, and so they thought the kids would be, they couldn't get. I guess they couldn't get the kids. I'm still not sure about that, but the door was locked down. I think they got a message saying that the school was locked down, so they ended up coming to Norman, and then we turned on the news and we found out that the Plaza Towers was wiped out. And it was just.
When you went into the school, were there children all in the hallways? Were they all in there, or were they in different other parts of the school as well?
What I saw, because I went to the right where the first graders and the kindergartens were, they were all in the hallway. Right when I walked into school, I went to the right, and all the kids were in the hallway. So, and my 6th graders, Dakota and Gabrielle both said they were all in the hallway at the time, too. So.
Teachers did a magnificent job, It's just looking at it now, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. One minute, God's good. God's good. That we're here right now.
I'm thrilled that you're okay, and I'm thrilled your kids are okay. Thank you for stopping and talking with us. I do appreciate it. Well, tell me your first and last name again.
Tabitha Long.
And yours?
Stephen Long.
Okay, I know you got a little bit of a walk to make, so thank you for stopping and talking with us. And again, I'm so happy that your kids are okay. I really am. All right, good luck to you guys. Just to give you an idea again, for folks who left the area and are trying to get back and get to some of your homes, it does sound like, at least what they're saying, is that some of the law enforcement are allowing people to at least walk back into some of these areas, but they're not being allowed to drive. They're being told you've got to park down the street and then come on down. Look, you can see a couple more people that are starting to walk up here along 19th Street, just to the west side of I-35. Actually, we're seeing a lot of people now that are starting to walk up toward this area. So it is obvious that down the street they are letting people park and then walking back into some, not all. So don't expect, if you did receive some damage to your home, to immediately get in there. They are letting just some people, it appears, to go into that neighborhood. Hey, one other thing, Tammy, producers, do we have time for one more interview? Okay, come back on me. Come over here. I want to introduce you to one guy. I thought this was pretty amazing. Lieutenant, can you come talk to me? This is the lieutenant for the Joplin Fire Department and the police department. Actually, I believe it's the police department. They have sent emergency crews from Joplin here to Oklahoma City. Lieutenant, come on here with me. Rusty Surratt with the local CBS. You came in from Joplin. You know what this is like.
That's true. Devastation is a lot of the same that we've seen during the tornado in 2011. So it's kind of brought everybody back to what happened then.
Okay, so you experienced what happened there, and I don't want to compare storms to storms. I don't ever want to do that, but do talk about what happened there and what you're seeing here, and what are your thoughts on this?
Basically, what you're seeing is you're seeing a huge response, just like we saw in Joplin. A lot of assets piled on quick, a lot of volunteer groups and different people showing up to help search, to help move debris, a lot of medical, fire, and police on scene. So you're seeing some of the same type of response.
What will happen today? Give us an idea. We're talking about the first school day following this major event like you had in Joplin. So what takes place on a scale of this kind of disaster? What will all these men and women who are here in the military in place, what exactly will they be doing today?
Basically, on the first day after, you're going to see a lot of coordination efforts. You're going to see a lot of things kind of getting narrowed down as to where the destruction actually took place, how many people were injured or killed. A lot of the numbers will initially kind of be exaggerated, or some misinformation will come out. So today will be the day to kind of pin that down to get the assets where they needed.
My final question, and I'll let you go. Coming in from Joplin, I know a lot of people from Oklahoma went there. Now, you are here. What's the importance of that and working back and forth on events like this?
You know, as a city, we can obviously never repay what was given to us after the tornado. I mean, the outpouring of neighbor help neighbor and the different groups that came in from all over the United States. So this is just a chance for us to try to give a little bit back.
And give me your first and last name one more time, Lieutenant.
My first name is Sloan, last name Rowland.
Lieutenant Rowland. Welcome to Oklahoma, and thank you so much for your help. Lieutenant from the Joplin Police Department here. They are just one agency that we've seen come from all over. We've seen Texas, we've seen Kansas, we've seen Oklahoma. They are arriving still. I'm looking at I-35 right here behind me. We are seeing a number of people that are still arriving, emergency crews, and then, of course, the people who live here now walking back here into the devastated neighborhoods, looking at their property, probably for the first time since they left yesterday or evacuated, and they are walking back here now to get their first chance at what is left of their home. Tammy?
Rusty, thank you, that Lieutenant, and so many others obviously here because the President has declared a major disaster in Oklahoma after the powerful tornado that tore through parts of our state, including this, a live picture from Sky News 9 HD and more. Federal aid coming to Pott, Cleveland, Oklahoma, Lincoln, and McLean counties. We've heard a lot of comparisons. This tornado with May 3rd, so many similarities. But yesterday, Governor Mary Fallin commenting on how one thing is different. Worse than May 3rd, 99, I believe, in looking at it. And, you know, if you walk to the neighborhoods, if you go through some of these business areas, and certainly when we see the schools, it's just heaps of debris. You can't really tell what was in that particular location. It's just, you know, it'd be incredible if anybody survived any of those structures that were destroyed during this terrible storm. There were hundreds, I don't know how many people, maybe even 1,000 people that were on the ground last night. And it's absolutely remarkable to see how they're working and how they're cooperating, which is always the key. Anytime you have a disaster like this, and you know, Oklahoma did have the May 3rd tornado that struck through this area. It's hard to believe it yet again. We went through the federal building bombing back in 1995, and so I have to say we have a great, what we call the Oklahoma standard, being able to work through terrible disasters like this and be able to comfort our people and come out strong on the other side. Governor Mary Fallin speaking yesterday. She will be on the scene here today in several areas, touring the area, canvassing the area with experts, National Weather Service certainly here to give this rating to this tornado, and our team certainly confident it's going to be rated an F5, but she will be touring this area later today. OSU, OKC is closed. We know OCCC is closed today, and no surprise, more schools are closed today. Again, OSU, OKC, more schools, and OCCC closed today. We've had a lot of donations here at TV9. There's been an outpouring in the state and across the country. Toby Keith was one of the first to step up and ask for those to help. If we have that video, Josh, we'd like to play that now. They're working on it right now. Toby Keith, obviously a big-time name in Oklahoma. Steps up to the plate a lot for Oklahomans, and he's certainly doing so again. Really challenging all of us to help. Here's Toby Keith.
My heart goes out to all the people whose lives have been devastated. Many of you are asking, what can you do? If you'd like to make a $10 donation, text TORNADO to the number on your screen. Thank you for your compassion and generosity. Thank you, Oklahoma.
Toby Keith asking for help, and you can text food. This is an easy way to help. You don't even have to come to the station, but we certainly thank all of you who have. If you text food to 32333 and make a $10 donation, it will make an incredible difference. We thank you to those of you who have dropped off these needed items: gloves, boots, toiletries, shovels, trash bags, dust masks, or cash. So many people have stopped and said, what can we do? And that's, as the governor mentioned, is the Oklahoma Standard. I had a viewer reach out to me. She was the mother of a 7-year-old, and after she saw my interview with the mother of a 7-year-old who'd lost her home in Shawnee, you know, we haven't forgotten Shawnee, those tornadoes day before yesterday that hit. One took a hit at a mobile home park there, but she'd lost her home, she'd lost everything. And a mother like her reached out and said, how can I help her? And we're hoping to get those two connected. That's just an example of what's happening across our state right now. A lot of our crews are describing these areas as somewhat deserted. You can see people are not allowed in here. There's some serious work that's being done. There is still a rescue underway. There's certainly a search, and we're hoping for a rescue. Certainly there will be a recovery of bodies today, and that's something we're going to be following for you here, staying live. We want to welcome our viewers from Tulsa. River Communications has a statewide coverage with the help of our sister station in Tulsa. We welcome you. We certainly know you've welcomed us many times when you've had tragedy in your city. We have 2 radio stations with live signals, 93.3 Jake. If you know someone who is, doesn't have power, they don't have a television, and they're wanting to get our coverage, they can join us, 93.3 Jake. Also, our another radio partner, 1520 KOKC, News9.com all the time. We'll be updating you throughout the day at News9.com as well. Dave Davis, is that what you said? Or are we going to try Lisa? Okay, well, we see Lisa, but we're going to go to Dave Davis, some sound there, Lisa, and then we'll be right back with you. Dave, are you with me? Oh, we don't have Dave. Lisa was right. She's up and she's outside. She's close. Lisa's standing by with some of the donations that have been made there. You probably saw the video last night, Lisa, just this incredible long line of cars lining up to make donations. And, well, you've got the goods behind you to prove it today.
Yeah, Tammy, you know, as we were coming out here, coming back from the devastation zone, I did see that long line of cars. And it's no different this morning watching the huge hearts of Oklahoma just pouring their hearts out here, bringing water donations. At one point, we had an assembly line going here, so we're unloading water off of the bed of the truck here. We just had a large semi with the food bank show up here to load up some of that water, to take it into the zone where it is needed. And we've had volunteers come out here to help with unloading this as far as Tulsa. So really just a huge outpouring of support here. And if you want to help, we're going to be out here taking donations all day today. You can also write a check. That's also the money is going to be needed. You can write it to the Red Cross, specifically Oklahoma Relief, and we'll get that money where it needs to go, Tammy.
Thank you, Lisa Monahan, for that. We thank you so much, those of you who have responded and come out here to bring donations. For those of you just joining us, we're expecting a press conference any time, and we're going to take that as soon as we hit it, because we're really looking forward to hearing from some officials. We have had crews fanned out and more, working I tell you, they're darndest to get information for you overnight, and now for the first time in many, many hours, we are going to be hearing from some officials and getting some more official word, any kind of update. Of course, we're interested in structural. Certainly the search is the highest importance. We have what could be dozens of children trapped in a school. We have just the incredible torment of parents right now and families who don't have their little ones with them. Our prayers are with you this morning. This is a live picture. Bob Mills, Sky News 9. We also have, we've seen a lot of incredible still pictures, AP pics that have come in. We might share some of those with you as we wait for the press conference this morning. We can tell you more than 100 people, more than 150 people actually were injured in the tornado. We have about 45 children at Children's Hospital. These are the AP pictures. Some of these you may not have seen. It doesn't take video every time to tell a story, and these certainly do. Again, about 45 children have been hospitalized at Children's Hospital. 20 adults are at Children's Hospital. You can certainly see why here. 51 confirmed dead. This woman carrying her child. This was a child pulled from the rubble of one of the schools. So scared and fearful and dangerous, as you can see, with the fires that were set off. These are not pictures from today. I'm glad to say these are from yesterday. Cars tossed around like toys. These are images that we've sadly become used to in Oklahoma. It has been an incredible response from first responders, from the national, federal level, National Guard on the ground. They've been in the air. We've had some military aircraft in the air, a real coordinated effort. That just looks like a checkerboard that's just been wiped off the map, sadly. So some of these are the same pictures are cycling through. We have 20 children dead. That number overnight, for those of you just getting up this morning, so the numbers have not changed, but we expect them to do so, sadly, because the medical examiner has told us that there could be at least 20 additional deaths to report, 20 to 40 actually. So for now, the facts for now are 51 fatalities, 20 of those are children. More than 100 people have been injured, various injuries of children at Children's Hospital, from just minor injuries to children with crushing injuries. So many prayers go out to the children who are hospitalized, that they all survive. It is those children that is drawing the national and international press here. All eyes are on the school, Plaza Towers Elementary, even though we can't bring you live pictures right now. We might pull up some of those pictures from overnight to show you what we were seeing. Rusty Surratt was on the scene of the elementary school and was there for hours, and because of the national interest, because of the press and the swelling of the press there at the scene, they simply had to move everyone away because it was just, the numbers were getting too large. It was becoming, it was hampering the effort, they felt like, and that was certainly not something we wanted any part of, so we picked up and we moved. I was talking with Rusty just a little bit ago. He's found a new place to stand. I know Chris McKinnon, he's also standing by for us. Is that my understanding? Is Chris still with us, or is he taking a break? He's been working all night, I know. Okay, he's taking a break.
Yeah, I can more. I'm recording.
Now, you say the new death toll. The death toll is 51, so are you saying my producer's passing along a new number? Do we add that to the existing number?
No.
The death toll has gone down.
Oh, really?
I'm being told, this is wonderful, wonderful news. Overnight, we were hearing and we were reporting that death toll was at 51, but it has been downgraded to 24, almost cut in half. In situations like this, you know, you have families reporting that people are gone, and there can be some confusion, clearly, because so much of this area has been decimated. For some reason, authorities believed it was 51. Today, it is 24. So that is just incredible news for us in Oklahoma today, that the death toll, for whatever reason, doesn't matter now, but it's been cut nearly in half. As the search continues at Plaza Towers Elementary School, where it is believed there could be dozens of children, but you certainly wonder with that death toll coming down, how that might affect those numbers there. But just count on us to stay here and bring it to you when we get it. We've been mentioning that a press conference could get underway anytime. We're not exactly sure when. They thought it would be soon. We're having to be fluid, and we appreciate you being fluid with us. James is in the Air Force. Jim Gardner, he's getting some rest because we're going to be really at it all day today again and possibly through the night. But James Albertson is in the air just sharing some of these incredible pictures of a wide swath in Moore of what this tornado did. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, James? Are you with me? Maybe we can get him shortly so we can visit back and forth. He was telling me earlier in Moore, this is no surprise, the areas to avoid are I-35. I-35 going north is next to impossible. We can hear the chopper now. Newcastle was another, or Sunnyland, I'm sorry, was another road that said to steer clear of. The neighborhood I was in yesterday was at 4th and Newcastle, and it was just incredible damage. Not just a neighborhood, but neighborhoods. Stan has an interview for us. Stan Miller's been standing by, and I'm going to pitch it back to you, Stan, there on the scene in Moore.
Yeah, Tammy, I was just standing around here looking at everything and waiting for our press conference, which is not really materializing right now. And I ran across this couple right here. This is Katie Randolph and Robbie Penny, and they live in the apartments just behind us over here, and they were able to watch the entire thing. And you told me that you guys, you saw this thing happening, and you decided to get out of Dodge and go find a safe place. And so where'd you go?
We went to IDC Bank right down the road. We knocked on the door, and the guy came out and said, we can't legally let you in. So we saw it coming down the road. We had no time to go home, So we went under a bridge and took cover under the bridge. We heard the storm. It went right over us and felt the debris. He got hit with some rocks and stuff, but it was the scariest thing that I ever went through, and I was even in the Joplin tornado. So
I guess you know that being under a bridge is not a real safe place to be, but you didn't have much choice, did you?
We had no choice at all. It was either that or standing on the road.
So when you went over to the bank, you guys were thinking, let's go in the vault there?
It was the lesser of two evils because unfortunately we're on the second story of our apartment. So once the sirens themselves started going off, I was like, it's not a good place for us to be here. We need to either get on the ground or get underground. So the best bet I thought was to go see if we can get access to the bank vaults, because I know that's where all the employees go in times like these. So we ran across the street, knocked on the door, our came out. The guy told us he couldn't legally let us in. So at that point, I realized they already made our decision, so it's time for us to make ours. We look up the road at 19th Street, we see it coming straight towards us, so it's heading east, right up the middle of the road. So at that point, it's time for us to just start making moves. So we go a little bit farther down the road, I'd say about 100 meters, and as it's coming up from behind us, I say, Katie, get in the storm ditch. We go in the very middle of the tunnel itself, as the tornado passes over the highway. And that's when it changes direction, starts heading west, and that's where it took out the medical center. And then,
was there a time when you just felt like this thing's just going to suck us up in the air, we're done?
Oh my God, I was praying to God so many times, and I honestly was like, I'm not going to see tomorrow. I was just like, I don't want to die today, but there's nothing else to do.
Do you have family here in the area?
Not here in the area. We're not from here. We just actually moved in a couple weeks ago. The experiences I do have in the Midwest, though, I know tornadoes are not going to play around about. And I figured when we were inside the tunnel, I'm 6'1", so if I knuckle her up against the wall and get her as flat as possible, just lay over her, we're going to be more aerodynamic, so the wind won't affect us as much as it would if we were laying flat. So, like I said,
but you got filled with some rocks, didn't you?
I did. I got a couple scrapes and bruises, but I feel blessed to be alive because I know a lot of people that are in our area that weren't so lucky. So.
Does this change your mind about sticking around and more?
Well, we can't because of our job. I mean, we've got to continue working and stuff. But I mean, it definitely changes the perception we have of storms and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of times people don't think it's going to happen to them. You don't think it's going to happen to you.
Out of all the footage and pictures I've seen of tornadoes that have happened so far, nothing compares to this. Nothing compares to this.
Well, we're glad you guys made it out safe, and we appreciate you talking to us. Tammy, that's one of probably about a couple thousand stories, somewhat like that yesterday as this tornado was bearing down on the city of Moore. So I can only imagine.
I'm glad that's all we have to do. Stan, thank you for that interview. We are following the search today, and we are following the weather, and that's why I'm sending it over to Jed Castles. Jed, you have an update for us.
Yes, we do, Tammy. We don't want rain on the rescue workers and those that are trying to do cleanup and just the emergency workers there in Moore. We are tracking a new shower that's kind of, we'll call it a rogue-type shower. It's kind of moving off away from the line of storms that extends from south of Lawton, Duncan, near Pauls Valley, down to the Davis area, extends toward Ada and McAllister. That is the main line, which you can see just north of it, though. Another little thunderstorm. You can see that's trying to track a bit more back toward the north and east. So we'll just track it as if it's going to keep this position. The current movement on this shower is over Chickasha. Maybe a little bit of lightning with that, not a whole lot, but it is tracking on toward the north and east. Here's kind of a few of the towns that it's headed towards. You can see it's moving right up towards Oklahoma City. If it keeps its current movement, which we've seen it earlier this morning where storms would show signs of northeast, and then finally start turning east the last minute before they made it to the metro. But we'll keep this track going and see what happens after that. But she's moving to Blanchard at 8:59, Moore 9:23. So it's just over 30 minutes away from Moore. Oklahoma City, 9:31 is downtown Oklahoma City. OCU, I believe that'll be the Oklahoma City campus. And then Del City about 9:33. So 9:36 Midwest City. So this is a heavy shower. We kind of talked about how there may be showers and storms continuing through about 9 o'clock this morning. And this would verify that if this happens. But we'll see it. We're going to keep an eye on it. But right now, it's near Chickasha. General movement is toward the north and east. So for folks in the Moore area, if you're doing cleanup, or if you have loved ones in Moore, might text you, let them know there's one we'll call it a renegade shower. That's kind of headed up that way. We'll lightning with that too. Most of the heavier showers, no severe weather, just heavy showers extending to the south, Pauls Valley down to Davis. And that's where most of the activity will remain. So that's the word from the Weather Center. Tammy should make it up to 80 degrees today. Let's get try to get that high. And after this little rain band, I think most of the rain starts to wind down and moves on toward the south and east. So got to deal with maybe one little shower today.
We know we can count on you to keep us updated, Jed. We thank you as we take a look at live picture of our Sky News 9. This is news we did not expect to share today, and just thrilled to do so. The death toll we've been reporting has nearly, in essence, has been cut in half. The ME's office releasing a statement saying that 51 deaths had been reported to the office during the early phases of the recovery effort. But to date, we are learning 24 deceased victims of the tornado have been transported to their office. Positive IDs have been made in the vast majority of those, and they are ready to return to their loved ones. So some of those bodies are being given to their families. Incredibly and happily so. The death toll cut nearly in half here. And they're pointing to some of the chaos at the beginning, which would certainly be understandable after this tornado swept through. I see Rusty Surratt standing by. I'm assuming, certainly, Rusty, you have an update for us where you are.
Yeah, good morning again, Tammy. And, all morning since we've been out here on 19th Street and more near I-35, we've been able to really determine what's to the east of us and what's to the north of us. We haven't really been able to get a real clear idea of what's just down to the west of us, but that's where Miss Melanie is coming in. Melanie, you lived down there. You're saying that you lived in one of the apartments down there. Tell us which one, and you're saying it's pretty much gone, huh?
Yeah, I live in the and roofs are gone, siding's gone, windows are gone, cars are gone, and right on South Santa Fe, metal towers are completely hanging on wires. They were snapped in half. Big metal towers snapped, hanging. All these towers are snapped and hanging just on wiring, and that's why they've got it closed off down there. It's pretty bad, but it's just as far as you can see. The subdivision It's just completely flat. It looks like a prairie land. It's just been taken out.
I want to talk about you getting out just in time. You said that you and your son-in-law, is that right? Took off.
Stacy, Chad, and Corey, we all got out in time. Son-in-law came to the door and was banging, and I got in the car and we drove south. Luckily, my daughter teaches in Yukon, and she was at school, so she was safe. And my son was out with his girlfriend on their second anniversary, and I was home all by myself. And I didn't realize the severity of it. And we booked it to Norman, and behind us you could just see it. And then we waited for about 30 minutes and came back, and I don't know how we were able to get to the complex, but we did. And it looked like a war zone. It just looked like bombs had been ignited everywhere. There's a car part in my bedroom, you know. Everything's gone, you know. Just in a matter of 30 minutes, your whole life is torn upside down.
Melanie, together, let's help our viewers who are watching this right now, who may live in this area and haven't come back. How are they allowing vehicles down there, or people just to walk around? What's going on?
To come in. Nobody's allowed to come in because of the wiring and the things hanging on the wires. Nobody's allowed to come in. They're allowing people to leave. And there's an exit to where they can get out South Santa Fe from their apartments, and they can go back towards Norman. But nobody's allowed to come in.
Wow. Melanie, I'm glad you're okay. And
I'm sorry about your house.
We'll drive down to a cup of coffee.
Starbucks almost every morning, and this is very serious. No, really, I mean, I'm glad I'm okay.
I'm glad you're all right.
If I would have stayed, I may not have been here.
Well, you know, I'm happy you're here. Tell me your last name.
Shelton.
And go find you a cup of coffee. Good to meet you, sweetheart. I'm glad you're all right. Melanie, talking to us about what's down there here. We haven't been able to go down that way just yet. We've been able to see just a little bit earlier this morning before they put all the media here in the Dick's Sporting Goods parking lot on 19th Street. We were in the middle of the worst areas. I think the parts that had the most destruction. But we've since now, the last few hours have been pushed back. You can see, look here, right behind me, some activity going on here on the north side of 19th Street. Police officers are stopping. Actually, it looks like he's stopping to tell the media to get back on the other side. It looks like a media crew there that try to wander off a little bit too far, and that gives us the confirmation that we can't leave here. And that is something that we learned several hours ago when we were in some of those market areas. The police officers came through, and they told all the media outlets that we needed to get out of the neighborhoods, come here to one spot, and stay in this one spot. Nobody was being allowed to go anywhere into any of the neighborhoods, and I think that's something important for our viewers to know. Don't even try to come down here. All you're going to do is clog up the roads and end up causing more problems than helping. Don't try to come down. You're not going to get anywhere. All the roads are blocked. We're being told to stay put right here. You just saw right here behind us a camera crew trying to go across the street. So that's what's happening right now. Tammy, we'll go back to you in this video.
Russ is right. We appreciate you. We sure do feel for those families, though, who would just give just about anything to get in there, see if they have anything left. But that time will come. Thank you for your live report. Bobby Miller also standing by for us this morning. Bobby, it's really pretty incredible. People are coming forward in so many ways to help. With all the debris that we've seen, this gentleman here is making a real difference.
Tammy, we really got to spotlight the good that people are doing. And this is Jonathan Neal. He's with TNW Tire, Oklahoma City. And this is amazing. You guys are providing a service for free to anyone who may have got a nail in their tire or something, because there's debris everywhere. So everybody is happening. So tell me what you're doing out here.
We're just out here to provide a service mostly for emergency crews, emergency personnel, first responder vehicles. Like I said, they got us set up here, real command center for our tires. As you can see, we're busy on my shoulder right here. And it's a constant flow. We're here to provide flat fixes, no charge. We'll have tires, just whatever they need to keep on rolling. And we're trying to be real quick, real thorough with it so they can get back out on scene.
And that is perfect. It sounds like a body shot right behind me with all the sound. And I noticed that there are 3 police vehicles right now. Do you even have a number of how many tires you've repaired so far?
We've got a rough estimate of about 150 flat repairs since we've been here since 5:30 yesterday afternoon. And that's not a rough estimate, I would say.
Okay, that is quite a job because 150 just since yesterday evening. What does your place normally do?
Our shop normally probably does around 70 to 100 tires in the summertime, and that's semi-truck tires. We normally don't do passenger tires out of our trucks here. So we're just out here to provide the service for emergency vehicles and emergency crews and the first responders.
I mean, you guys are staying busy because, like I said, we've got 3 right here that are going, and you've got several of your trucks out here, and so your crews are working through the night.
Yeah, we've all of us you see here have been here all night long, and we've got cat naps here and there, but we've been here all night long. We're going to try to rotate, get some sleep throughout the day, and we've got our regular business at our company going as well. We're trying to stay out here and just help out as much as possible. So it's a disaster. I mean, it's all hands on deck, honestly.
And you were telling me that actually the OHP troopers called and requested this service.
Yeah, they requested us, some of our guys come out here, because they anticipated the flash. Like I said, look at all the debris, of course, it's crazy. And it's been nonstop, one after the other, flat after flat. It's just been crazy.
Well, that's a wonderful service that you all are providing, and I appreciate it so much. Thanks for interviewing with us. I know you got to get back to work. They're quick. You guys are doing a great job. Nice car, that's right. So, as Nick's showing you, they are staying busy, and you can imagine that they will throughout the day and for several days to come. Because if you can see the ground and look at the splattered side of this more police car, this is amazing the amount of damage that has blown over here. The debris, because this isn't one of the areas that was hit here anymore. This is all just junk that has blown over here and made it just a dirty, miserable mess. But it's a bright spot to have these guys doing such a great job and absolutely for free at the request of the troopers. So, Tammy, we like to highlight when people are helping others. It's just the Oklahoma standard, and we're so glad to see it here at the command post. And we'll keep highlighting stories as we find them out here.
That sounds great, Bobby. We thank you for that, reporting live for us and more this morning. Some new information we want to pass along. State Superintendent Janet Barisi will be touring the school sites. It's my understanding Governor Mary Fallon will also be out touring the area. We want to pass along, there's been some concern about the Draper water plant, and the pressure being low there. It remains low. They are encouraging you to necessity only water use is really what they're asking. No sprinklers, hold off on the dishes. Heaven knows we all deserve a break anyway. But the Draper water plant pressure, it is still low. But good news, they expect to have that leveled off and back up to speed by drive time from work today. That has affected water pressure downtown at the Capitol, OU Health Sciences complex. So a lot of people being affected by that, a lot of people who need that water and that pressure. So if you can help out there and really conserve for a while, that would be great. These are pictures from yesterday. We always want to draw that distinction for you. Workers here digging through the rubble. We have the death toll right now is 24. There are 24 confirmed dead. The ME's office expects that number to climb considerably. It is our understanding it's possible there could be several dozen children trapped in that elementary school and more. We're waiting for a press conference to get underway. Looking forward to hearing from officials on anything new today. You are watching News 9's extended team coverage the day after the twister. We plan to stay with you indefinitely, at least at this point. We have many of you on pins and needles, and we certainly understand that, and we come to you in a real sensitive manner. That many of you are listening, watching, and clinging to family right now because your little children are not home. So we are